Yeah, it's best just to replace it anyway. Got a pin right there. Pin comes out. This will come off. Alright, got the bearings taped on, bearing caps. Okay, so this bolts to the transmission and this bolts to this, so once I unbolt this thing, then I can take these bolts off normally. That's what was going on there. Oof. Just cleaned up. And the cable runs up over to here. Go ahead and do that and we'll go get a replacement. But it's on there good. There we go. Alright, there's my brakes. Well, yeah, look at that. No, that pad is gone. Found some parts to put the parking brake back together. This is the original brake cable. It is 102 inches long. And the closest thing I could find on eBay or anywhere on the internet actually is this thing. This is also 102 inches long, but it looks a little different at each end, so I might need to modify it. Also hopped on eBay and found what looks like just this part, which is awesome because even if I can't figure out how to use the new cable, I can reuse the old one, but at least I will be able to replace this part which goes inside the transmission housing or inside that drum brake housing, and it's really hard to get out, so I can at least replace that and we'll figure out the cable later. It's got kind of a funky thing going on here, but I do believe that is what this is. So that actually might just work in there. This end though, I don't know, I guess we'll find out. 93510, manufacturer's number. I found this just by searching parking brake cable 102 inches. And then we have the brake shoes. A 1988 Ford F-150 matches up. And then the replacement springs. Got a spring kit. It would probably work. It's got the same mounting thing for going into that brake housing. But there's no mount, like right there. So, we'll see. takes a 3/4 inch socket. All right, nice day for a little work on the RV. Don't think I torqued it down, so I should be able to get it off with this. It's just a wrench. Looks like it maybe just unscrews, but then how does that come out of that? Unless that separates right there. Let's go ahead and soak this with some WD. So maybe that just screws. Okay, let's see if we can take this thing apart. Got a 9/16 on one side and a 1/2 inch on the other. Came out. So it comes off. And then yep. This probably needs to come off too. Nuts there for locking this into place. So I guess that's maybe a bit of a way to adjust the cable, but I mostly want to put this back on, or put on the other part as a way to detach the cable from the transmission. If I ever need to do transmission work, that'll be handy because I don't have to take the whole cable out with the transmission. So I like this, gives me a way to disconnect the cable. Alright, there's the new one. And it fits. Sweet. Awesome. So we can reuse the old cable until I find a new one. It's not in too bad a shape or anything. Double check the length on that before I cram that in there, since that's so hard to get out. I like this new one. It's got the nice steel housing there instead of this stuff. Looks like it used to be plastic or rubber, molded over a spring or coiled wire for protection. I mean, it'll work, but this looks a whole lot beefier. It's a little bit different. Yeah, this one's flexible though, so it can come around and mount on this bracket. This one does not look like it's going to want to do that. Oh. It is still a rubber cable in there. For a flexible cable inside of there, they just put a steel pipe around it. best fit on this, but it's close enough. Yeah, it'll still hold it in place. This bracket needs to flip around though. There's a notch in there. Lines up the notch on that. Yeah, this pipe isn't shaped quite right, but it flexes enough to go right where it needs to, so that's working. Yeah, I like the extra beefy pipe on that. Could take some abuse. Just put a little grease on this while I'm over here. Parking brake lever, and the pin on the bottom of that has a clip. Clip that off. Yeah, look at that. Comes with its own tool. There. And then, oh right, this parking brake is actually installed upside down versus your rear brakes on a truck. And there's also no there's no brake cylinder, which would go right in between here, so that's kind of nice. Makes it easier to put the whole thing in one piece. There we go. Let's grab that pin. Put that back up. Let's make sure I didn't drop the washer. Make sure it's not stuck on the bottom. I could actually use a little wash. Should have done that before I moved it over. And we got the automatic adjuster, which looks like just an adjuster on this one. Since it's just a parking brake, I don't think it really needs to adjust. These pads don't get worn down since they only engage as a parking brake and not while it's moving. Okay, so there's that spring. I'll take out the adjuster. Let's give it a wash. Looks like it's got some copper anti-seize on there. Looking pretty good. I'm not going to bother too much with that. I've seen some mechanics clean these up really good. They say not to use lubricant because brake dust will collect and gunk things up. But this is not an automatic adjuster, so I'm not too worried about it. Though, we'll put a little dab of grease on there maybe. I have a feeling there's a slot on the back side of the brake housing, so you can put a flathead in there and adjust that if you need to. Washer's seen better days. Maybe that's just the copper anti-seize just dried up or something. It's coming right off though. That's better. Okay, put that there. Some more copper anti-seize. Got an angled part here, which goes in to the parking brake lever. And then there's a spring on this side. Let's go ahead and get out the springs, and I think that goes like that. The adjuster's on the left. The spring's on the left. A bunch of replacement springs also for the Ford F-150 1988. A replacement plug, though I might not have one. So all the stuff to do a full rear brake replacement. Though this is a parking brake, so we only need a couple springs out of this kit, and I think those look like most of the stuff. What I need is in here. Not that. That looks a little different though, but same thing. Should be another one. So we got those two. Need that one. There's these things. There's that. Wait, look at the difference. It's either worn down or it's just a smaller spring. Got our pins, clips. Gonna need two. Kit does not seem to come with that spring. Feels all right, I suppose. Okay, so let's adjust that all the way in. That goes right there. And this goes here. These go like this, up there. Is it that one or is it this one? Probably that one. And the parking brake lever goes like that. Okay. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, there's some rub spots too. We need to put some grease on. Right there, right there. Okay, I think I left my caliper grease in the storage unit, so I'll just use some of this anti-seize lubricant. It's looking kind of funky. Okay, I'm thinking this might be a little easier to do one shoe at a time. So you can stay there. I think the spring goes like this. Oh, I need to get me one of those tools that put those on. Okay. Got this little thing. Just goes in behind that. That needs to come in. Okay, these are really freaking hard to get on. Oh, all right. Yeah, there's no slot in the back of that. There are some slots in this thing, though. Yeah. One slot on top of that, so that must be what that's for. Parking brake adjustment. Got some plugs that'll probably fit in there. That's cool. Seal that back up. Okay, that's better. Bring that out just a little bit more. I'll put the housing back on. Get some grease off the pads. Probably should have done this beforehand too, but let's go ahead and get some grease down in there. And maybe a little right there. Welts likes to rub. Also over at cleanstreet.org or maybe your own app. Either way, thanks for taking some time out to just need to put on the brake housing, or whatever you call this, the brake drum. We'll see how much more I need to adjust it. I'll put that right about there. Yeah, I should be able to get that if I had. Okay, how's the spacing looking? Yeah, I might need to take that down just a little bit. Notch. There we go. Alright, there's the adjuster. That's cool. Okay, tighten that up a little bit. They matched it perfectly at this angle, but they did not match up perfectly at this angle. They're just maybe a 1/16 of an inch too long on each side, and so when I put the drum housing on, it's rubbing on that. So yeah, I looked at them. They looked like they matched up like this. They're pretty close this way, but I was kind of trusting him to you know, he was looking at it like this. I figured he knew what he's looking at, but they were wrong. It was a little too big. If I could shave a little off, maybe with an angle grinder, I can make that work. Alright, this side got cut pretty good. Getting as close to these rivets as I can, which gave me a little over 1/16 of an inch, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. So yeah, just shaved that right off. The other side is a little more tricky. Couldn't really see too well. And it's just a weird angle trying to cut these on here. It might have been a little easier just taking these off and cutting them, but they were already installed, so I thought I'd just cut them on there. It wasn't too bad. Took off the sharp edges just in case I need to come back in here and work later. Yeah, it feels pretty good. So let's see if anything still rubs. If it does, I might just need to grind it down a little bit, but I think it's got some pretty good spacing on there. Freshen up the seal real fresh. Well, there, I wiped it out. I would replace that if that was something I could do right now, but I think I'll be right. Let's go ahead and get that plug in there before I forget. Perfect fit. Very nice. Clean this up a little better. Okay, maybe that is the brake shoes rubbing. So that's okay. Let's go grab the impact. I could not find a torque specification for this specific bolt, but the vibration dampener bolt is about the same size, and that's 85 foot-pounds. So I think I'll just whack this on with the impact and call it good. All right, the drive shaft is back on. And that feels good. Didn't like having that sitting here all winter, but needed to get that brake installed, brake shoes, and that was needed a little modification on that, but it was a pretty easy job. So trim a little bit off. Yes, awesome, finally. It's not a complete job yet, but I am calling that a semi-success. As far as I could tell by yanking on that, those brake shoes will engage. They just might be a little too tight for the lever. Though I think these this adjusts the linkage, so I think I might be able to mess with that there. But if I have to, I can pull the plug and adjust that a little bit. But yeah, that is freaking awesome. First project after that long winter. Feels good. I did come up with an idea to make a full cover to work under. I'm just gonna make 2 more of these big square frames, but out of the smaller steel tube, a thinner walled steel tube. Since I won't be using those for the crane, it doesn't need to be too reinforced. So if I just make a couple more for each end, I can tarp over those and have a covered place to work during the rain, because that is really unfortunate when the rain comes and I can't get anything done. Like painting, that really needs to get done quick, and then I can work out in the rain a little more. I mean, yeah, there's a lot left to do, so I don't know. Maybe we'll make a thing. It'd be portable too. I have it all drawn up. It would be very handy. Okay, so we're gonna save the parking brake test for the next video or so. I need to put the dash back in and figure out where I want to mount this in its new location. I mean, I could just hook it up and give it a test, but everything's tarped up and blocked up, and nothing's real easy to start right now, so I can't roll it around and give it a good test. So we'll save that for when I get this installed in its new location. I want it up in the dash somewhere. There's enough cable here to go all the way up there, so I'm gonna go up to the dash. I need to put the frame, or the dash framework, back in there so I know where everything's, or you have an idea where everything's going to be at. And we can put this back in. We'll get the engine going so I can drive it a little bit, and we'll give this a good test. But as far as I can tell, that worked out just fine, which is so freaking awesome. I have wanted a parking brake in this dang RV for so long. You guys have no idea. When I first got this RV, I was like, what the heck's wrong with my parking brake? And I go down, or I go back to see if I can see anything, and there's no emergency brake cable, and I realized this thing's here, and I'm like, what the heck is that? So that was my first experience with the Driveline brake. It's an interesting thing. Somewhat difficult to work on, but doable. And I need to find out where I can find a replacement one of these with the, I don't know, I might just have to find a RV junkyard and see if I can't find one in better condition. It's not in the worst condition. I mean, as far as I can tell, it's not fraying or anything. So, yeah, maybe it'll be fine. I got a spare. If I really have to, I can take this out and put it in the other one. But I really like this little disconnect there. Parking brake, finally. We'll do a test a little bit later. And then we're going to go ahead and move on to the next thing. I'm not sure what it's going to be. We'll check the list. Maybe the floor. I've been holding off on the floor because I wanted to get this done first. That way I could work over it. A little easier to work on, especially in this spot. Not that I can't do that from down below, but that made things a lot easier. So, yeah, maybe get the floor in. Or we'll work on the door frames. We're getting some nice weather today. Almost there, Patches. We're gonna get rain tomorrow though, so. Stay tuned. Lots coming up.